I never imagined my life would unravel like this. For years, I thought I had a perfect marriage, or at least as close to perfect as life allows. I worked hard, provided for my family, and did my best to be a loving husband. My wife and I had a son together, a little boy I adored more than anything. I believed we were building a future as a family. That illusion shattered one ordinary evening. I was going through some paperwork on the kitchen table when I noticed something unusual on our son's birth certificate. My stomach sank as I read his middle name. It wasn't a family name. It wasn't even a name we had discussed. It was the name of a man I had never wanted to see in my life again. The man my wife had an affair with years before we even had our son. I couldn't breathe. I sat there staring at the certificate, trying to convince myself that it was a mistake. But deep down, I knew. I had confronted her about past rumors once, years ago, and she had always denied everything. Now it was written in black and white, an unforgivable reminder of her betrayal. She hadn't just cheated on me, she had named my child after the man she had an affair with. My own son, the boy I loved more than life, carried the name of her lover. The confrontation that followed was nothing short of explosive. I demanded an explanation. She looked at me with those big, pleading eyes, trying to justify it as a silly choice, a random idea, but her words rang hollow. How could someone explain away naming a child after the person they had used to cheat? My heart ached, not for her, but for the life I had thought we shared. I realized then that this marriage was over. It wasn't about revenge at that moment. It was about protecting my dignity, my values, and the future of my child. I told her to pack her things. I couldn't stand to see her in the house anymore. I couldn't stand to watch the woman I loved so deeply betray me with such cruelty. The divorce process was painful but necessary. She tried to apologize, to plead, to convince me that she had changed, that she still loved me, that she still loved our son. But her actions had spoken louder than any words could. I had spent years trusting her, raising our son together, forgiving small mistakes, believing in her promises. Yet this one act, this deliberate choice to honor a man she had used to betray me, was unforgivable. Through it all, I focused on my son. I wanted him to grow up knowing his father loved him and that he was not defined by the sins of his mother. Every bedtime story, every school pickup, every laugh we shared became my anchor in the storm. I refused to let anger or betrayal poison our relationship. My son would not pay for her mistakes. Months passed, and she moved out. I never expected closure, but slowly a sense of calm settled in. The house felt lighter, more peaceful, and I could finally breathe without the weight of deceit pressing down on me. I had lost a wife, yes, but I had reclaimed my dignity and my life. Looking back, I realized revenge isn't always about confrontation or getting even. Sometimes the greatest revenge is simply living your life with integrity, showing the world that betrayal cannot break you. I had loved deeply, been hurt terribly, and yet here I am, still standing, still raising my son with love and strength. And that, I decided, was worth more than anything else.